Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio and welcome to week 20 of the Stash Buster block series. And our block today is called Indian Star, and this is it here. This is a 4-patch star. It's made with half square triangles and a 4-patch in the center. This goes together really quickly and it makes a star. I've made mine with 3 colors, and of course you can use as many colors as you want. So stay tuned and I will show you the pieces that you need for this block and then show you how to put it together. Okay, here is the Indian Star block. This is an 8-inch block, and the measurements that I'm giving you are for an 8-inch block. Now the instructions will include measurements for a 12-inch block if that's what you want to make. So for the blue fabrics, you're going to need 6 2.5-inch squares. For the yellow star points, you're going to need 8 2.5-inch squares. And for your background fabric, you're going to need 2 2.5-inch squares, and then you're going to need 4 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles, and those are the pieces you need to make one block. And the first thing I'm going to do is to draw a line on the wrong side of the yellow squares that make your star points. So whatever color you choose for your star points, you're going to make a diagonal line on the back of it. So take your square and some kind of a marking pen. Here I have an air-soluble marker, and then a straight edge, and draw a line corner to corner, just dark enough that you can see it. This line will not show in your quilting. It's a guideline for your sewing. So I'm going to make the flying geese units first, and I'm going to lay this so that the diagonal line goes from the center of the rectangle to the outside corner, and I'm going to stitch them all on one side first, and then I'm going to trim this part off, leaving a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Flip this back and press it, and then I will put the second piece on the same way and do the same thing. I will draw my line, stitch it, fold it over, trim it, and the whole bit. So let's go to the sewing machine and I'll show you how I'm going to sew these on. Okay, I've got my pieces all positioned, and I'm just going to stitch right along that line I drew. So now I'm going to take my next piece and do the same thing, and I'm just going to chain piece all of these together. And I'm just going to be doing one side, and then we'll do some trimming and pressing, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, I'm going to cut all of these apart, and then I'm going to trim off the corners. I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to cut out this part, cut off that part, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance like that, and then I'm going to press those open. So I'm just going to press those open. And use steam if you like steam. And use a little bit of steam to get them a little bit flatter. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay the piece so that the drawn line runs from the center of the rectangle to the lower edge like this, and then I'm going to stitch along that line. Okay, and I have all of those pieces sewn, so we're going to press those open. Okay, got those done, and I'm going to set those aside. And the next thing I need to do is to make the 4-patch. And to do that, I'm going to just sew a blue square to a white square. And I'm going to go ahead and chain piece those together. And then sew those 2 units together, and then I'll have my 4-patch. Okay, now I need to press these towards the darker fabric, which is the blue in my case, and then I will sew those 2 units together. So I'm going to nest my seams together. So that means I want those seams to meet up and have no space between them. So you can just feel that with your fingers when you push those 2 together. Okay, now I have a 4-patch. There we go, and I'll press that, and then it's time to lay out the block. Okay, the 4-patch is the center of the block, so I'm going to put that down first, and then we'll put the star points in, which the yellow fabrics are going to go towards the 4-patch, and then we'll put a blue square in each corner. And this is a hand dyed, so just whatever side, you know, there's no right or wrong, just whatever one I think looks the best is one that's going to go up. So I'm going to put all of these out. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm ready to sew it into rows. Got 3 rows, and then I sew all the rows together. Now when I get to the sections where I'm sewing the star points together, I want to put the flying geese up so that I can see the area where the lines are crossing here and there, and I want to stitch right above that intersection, just like a thread's width above it. Okay, now when you sew your rows together, you want to press your seams so that they're alternating. So if I press these out, then I want these seams to go in and then these to go out so that they will nest together when I sew the rows together. So I'm going to go ahead and press the first row out, and then the second row I will press in. And of course you can do it the opposite way. You can press these in and these out, just whatever you want. And then press this row out also. Okay, now I'm ready to sew the rows together. So I'm going to start at the top, and then I need to match seams like here. So I'm going to butt those up together and then match this one. And then when I sew, I want to watch again where my stitching crosses on the flying geese unit, and then I want to stitch just on the outer side of that cross line there so that I don't cut off the point. Okay, one more row. Okay, got the block all sewn together, so now I'm going to press it and we'll take a look at it. Okay, when you get your block all sewn together, you just need to press the last two seams, and you can press those any way you want. I'm just going to press them out. I think it'll just be easier. And then of course you want to take into consideration on how you're going to use the block. If it's going to match up against another block that's the same, then you'll want to have these seams going in a different direction. So that's, you know, something you just kind of take into consideration. So here we have our finished block. Here I have 4 of the blocks laid out, and they're just, you know, side by side, and they're the same other than the yellows are a little bit different between the two. I've got these two are the same, and these two, the yellow fabrics, are the same. What's going to make a difference in your layout is your 4-patch, because you've got, here I have them pointed to each other and kind of like in a diamond here, but I could just lay them all going in the same direction, which would be like this. You get a little bit different look that way. And can turn them like this, which is the way I started out. And you know, there's just really not a whole lot of anything different you can do with this block, because it is pretty symmetrical other than what is going on in the 4-patch. But it does make a little bit of a difference in the overall look of your pattern. So those are different things that you could do with the Indian star block. And I think this makes a really, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me next week for week 21. And if you want to get the written instructions on how to make this block, you can pick that up on my blog, and the link is in the description box below. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sunrise Quilt Studio. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will subscribe and click the like button if you like this video. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when the next video comes up. So in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.